Hello, everyone. Zeke, you're still rocking out?
Sorry.
Still into it? Welcome to Drop Frames. I'm joined this week by Zeke and Co, as usual, and our two guests here. The community team from Warframe, is that appropriate? What is that? What would you call your actual titles over there? Because I feel like you guys do so much over at the Warframe team.
We are part of the community team. I think that's as good as way ever as putting it. So.
Okay, perfect. Part of the community team then. Before we get started, Co, what episode are we on?
20,113.
All right, we broke 20K this week, guys. Congrats. Yeah, it's a big show for us. It's a big deal. Congratulations on TennoCon. It's over. Are you guys still riding the high, or is it that post-con depression time? Where are we at right now with the con grief?
Meg, where are you at?
I'm like just coming back to reality. Like I'm on my spaceship, I'm landing, and I'm just like soaking it all in, you know? I'm still here though.
Nice.
Right, so we're on a spaceship, so we're not fully landed on Earth. It's definitely like this sit and look at your computer and like, what do I do now? My purpose is over.
Yeah.
So,
I did the exact same thing you did where I looked and I saw like 20 tabs open of TennoCon stuff. And I'm like, close.
yeah.
It's so sad.
It was a pretty busy day for cons, though. Like, we were just in our own little insular London, Ontario world. Meanwhile, you got Guardian Con happening, you have Anime Expo happening. So lots. What did we miss? I guess we should ask, considering.
What happened in the world?
Well, is our foremost anime expert, Zeke, what went down on Anime Con Expo, whatever that one's called there?
Oh, there was lots of cool stuff there, guys. You guys missed out on a whole bunch. They announced a brand new Lord of the Rings anime series that's
Really
coming out.
nice,
It's
awesome,
crazy. Yeah, it's gonna be really good. But you know, I don't know who they're gonna get for the English voice actors, but I don't care because I'm subs, not dubs, kind of a guy. Just want you to know that I'm a total pure. Sorry, I'm done.
No, I like keep going. By all means, that went much longer than I expected. It was perfect. It was great.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Dude, I do long form improv, man. I'm good. I can go for a while.
It was great. Yeah, I don't know what happened. There was probably hand checks in LA, and that's probably all I know that happened at the Anime Con. Just a bunch of hand checks. So
Probably.
yeah.
Something I do want to point out.
Go ahead.
Something I do want to point out right away. Like, JP, did you change the box? If you guys look on your screen there, you'll see spacemom.box and spaceaunt.box is like.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, outlining your little box there. You changed that. JP changed that specifically for you guys.
It's true.
He doesn't do that for anybody.
Well, not everyone has the Space Mom and Space Aunt moniker, I guess. So
You got to earn that box.
Yeah, they're usually just hype boxes or shame boxes, depending on who it is. So.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll change to a shame box. Who knows?
Don't put that production on me, Megan. Now you're just setting expectations that won't get fulfilled in this. Don't do it. Okay. So would you guys say TennoCon's like the biggest weekend of the year for you guys every year, or are new game updates bigger, or are they just different?
In every measurable way, TennoCon is the biggest day of the year. Like, it's pretty important. Like, and that's why every year the pressure kind of mounts, because you always want to do better than the last year, not just in, like positive reactions, which you can't really quantify, but in, you get all the, how many views did it get? How many people came back to the game? Who logged in? What platform did they log in on? And so it's definitely you can measure a lot of aspects of TennoCon, which certainly makes it feel like a huge triumph when we do get to celebrate its success. But at the same time, it's just like the pressure is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Considering it's been in the same venue, for 4 years in a row, so you can only make a venue like we've allocated all of the space in that venue. So it's like, how do you make a convention bigger when you literally don't have space to make it bigger?
Mm-hmm.
So every year, not only do we, try to entertain and raise the bar in terms of what we're showing, but also when you're physically at the convention, how do we make it cooler than last year? And that's kind of one of the things that is different every single year. It's a struggle, but we did it.
Sure. You mentioned a bunch of different metrics there. What's like the biggest metric to judge success of the convention? Is it people there? Is it viewership on stream? Is it people logging in? Like you kind of mentioned all those.
I think like each of them has its own merit for success because we do have such a big presence on Twitch and other streaming platforms that concurrent viewership between our channel and our sponsored streams is a pretty huge one for us. And then ultimately, Warframe is a free game. So how many people decide to log in or sign up is kind of the huge ones because at the end of the day, like all this stuff we're showing from, beginning trailers to end trailers, if that gets someone interested in Warframe and into our game, that's kind of the biggest success thing that we can do as a business that depends on people playing our game.
Right. I saw, my eyes saw about 500,000. Was a little bit more than that on Twitch.
If you add everything up,
yeah,
more than that.
Yeah. It's pretty dope.
Just out of curiosity, does TennoCon, and if this isn't public info, feel free to skip, but does TennoCon bring you your biggest influx of new players?
I don't know if that's public information, but I can pretty safely say that we definitely position it in a way to bring returning players back as well as signups pretty equal form. So the tail end of TennoCon, so everything goes live and then you can start using all that cool stuff in ads, right? So basically what happens is we show that cinematic trailer, gets people hyped, and then our ads team can cut it up and start putting ads out there in the world to get people into the game. And then you'll see the tail of having some player signups. But I don't actually know if it's the biggest. I hope it is, but I don't know.
Cool.
Game marketing.
People are going to ask what the yellow... Is this an anime thing? Is this an anime thing? Is this? I've been told anime is related to the yellow pants here.
I think. Well, let's go to Twitch chat real quick here and see what everyone's saying. I see lots.
That's never. Oh God.
That all those indirectly counts as a reference, right? Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. Down the hatch.
I'm seeing Dio.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, my mind immediately goes to the '80s musician.
It is. Set in the 80s.
Okay.
He's named after the 80s musician Dio. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's those are my Dio pants.
Nice. Okay. We just
I don't know if you remember this, but we talked about this anime on a show a while back.
I kind of like just black out when the word anime happens. That's
true. That's true.
Yeah.
This is that anime that has all those characters named after 80s bands, like AC/DC and like all those guys. Like it's amazing.
Okay.
It's really, really good. Yeah. There's a Speedwagon in there, I think.
Yeah, Speedwagon, best girl, boy, but girl. It doesn't matter.
It's fine.
I warned you. I warned you.
No, it's fine. Every once in a while, anime creeps its way into my life, and I'll have to go take a shower after this. That's all it's gonna have to.
I've also been playing Loki and Danganronpa lately, so JP's just been loving that.
Yeah. I don't have anything against anime. I haven't been a fan of anime in several years, but I used to dabble in the animes, as one would say. But I've never watched like JoJo or anything like that before.
But like at this point, our game has become an anime, and it's sustained storytelling, and like you have to wait a while between seasons with their quests. So I feel like there's a lot of parallels, not only in our aesthetic, but also in our delivery of content that kind of matches a lot of the way anime unfolds. I think at one point Steve referred to our game as a Canadian space anime. So I'm not saying you're talking about anime when you're talking about Warframe, but I am saying we have some similarities.
All right, so Warframe's an anime. It's confirmed now.
Wait.
No.
It's not. It's not an anime. Warframe's not an anime.
Is this happening? This is happening, right? You just confirmed.
Well, in my mind, I feel like at some point I'm going to call some animation studio and say, listen here, let's just do it. And then
that's literally my dream. That's all I've ever wanted.
Yeah. Just for Warframe to become an anime. That's the biggest. That's next year's TennoCon. Get ready. We're getting some hot leaks here a year out. It'll be good.
You never know.
I guess you never do. Well, before I want to jump back to TennoCon, but I kind of just want to start with how you guys came to be who you are at the Warframe team. Like, how did what's your story to your current position, current role on the Warframe team? We'll start with Rebecca first and get Megan's take.
Sure. In 2011, I applied to be I was a student. I was in my third year of university, and I really wanted to get into the games industry. And I ended up finding that Digital Extremes was in the same town as my university. And I thought maybe they'll take me as an intern, which they didn't do at the time. And then I just managed to get in, and I never left. So I started 2011. We were shipping Darkness 2 still, and I was just working behind the scenes on anything they would let me do. And eventually, things kind of went on the decline for the company as we lost our published deals. And then Warframe was this kind of, maybe we can try this and see if we can do it ourselves. So we built up a lot behind the scenes to support a potential community. And then we launched. And then I've never really left, obviously. So I've been here the whole time since doing community work. And then Megan was the first person I hired. So now it's Megan's story.
Yeah. Megan, how did you fall into Rebecca's arms at the Warframe team?
No, you're like the term like arms like under the wing, like Rebecca just completely like took me and raised me like a little baby bird. But no, she we knew each other just through mutual friends, and then hung out a few times, and I think she maybe got from us just hanging out that I was a bit of a nerd with my Zelda arms and everything. So, and honestly at that point, like I've lived in London my entire life. I've never moved, and I did not know that digital extremes existed. I didn't know that being a community of any video game was even a job. So when I'd hang out with Rebecca and I would say, hey, like, do you want to hang out? And she would go, oh no, I have to go to, Gamescom this weekend in Germany. And I'm like, what do you do? Like, I don't understand your job. This doesn't sound real. And then, it wasn't until it was 2013, Warframe first launched, the beginning of the year. And then obviously it kind of grew. And then it was probably middle of the year that she messaged me and was just like, hey, I really, need some help with the community. It's growing. I think it'd be great. And I was like, you don't even have to ask me. Like, obviously I will work for a video game company. This is cool. I will quit my job at a grocery store. So she took me.
Yeah, not much choice there.
Yeah, like 6 years at a grocery store. Yeah, exactly. I'll move on. But no, so it was August of 2013 that I started. Start off small. Obviously, Warframe was smaller back then compared to it is now. Started on the forums, social media, just kind of, trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. Had no idea what I was doing. And then, it'll be 6 years this year. And I've also never left.
Awesome. Kind of the shortened version, if you guys, we'll give Danny a shout out. If you are interested in kind of the rise to where it's at right now, NoClip did a great documentary last year, I think is when that came out. 9 months ago?
Yeah, it was the beginning of last year.
Yeah. He kind of documented everything that has happened thus far to where Warframe's currently at. It's a good watch for sure. It gives you some perspective on what's going on with Warframe and everything. So
even I get emotional. I'm like, oh, good job, team. Like, good job.
Danny's good at what he does, without it. There's no denying that. Yeah. Ko, wait. Chat's saying Ko's never seen this. What are we gonna out Ko for never watch? Okay. All right.
Put him in the shame box. I don't want to be in the shame box.
We need to get Ko in the shame box. It's true. Also, Ko, Danny's really open to allowing streamers to watching it on their channel. So if you want some free hours of content, by all means,
really
message him and say, hey, we're gonna watch that.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet was because I didn't have like a big block of time outside of the stream. That's cool. I'll ping him on that.
Yeah, we watched the Final Fantasy 14 one before the most recent expansion. So
if it helps, I am playing Warframe right now.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
You could do.
I think that might weigh it out. That might weigh it out. Yeah, pretty good. So I'm curious to how you guys answer this question is because I've asked Ko, and I think we've talked at Warframe or talked about Warframe at length here on the show. What's the 5 or 6 word pitch to what Warframe is? How do you consolidate what that game is in a neat, approachable fashion?
Which is even harder considering
right. Yeah.
6 years.
I mean, there could be some leeway. It doesn't have to be. It could be 7. We can go with 5 to it. Whatever works.
Yeah, somebody has never heard of Warframe. You're standing in front of them. If you had to give them the total package in a sentence, what would you tell them Warframe is?
Free, super, space, ninja. I'd do it in 4.
Oh.
Free, super, space, ninja.
Now, does the super imply that there's a mushroom that your character will grow? What is the? I mean, if we're.
To be honest, I cheated and someone said super in chat, and I was like, I bet I can make that word work. And that was
okay. Chat's a great resource. Yeah, we have phone a chat here on Dropframe, so you can totally do it.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Megan, what would you do?
I feel like the Warframe is definitely one of those games where when I've streamed it, and I think Ko and Zeke can both relate to this. Really, anyone can that plays it, where people join and they're like, "How do I get started?" And you kind of take like a big breath and you say, "Well, download the game because it's free, and then just begin playing." So what is the pitch there to get people started? Like what do you send them resource wise? Do you send them to a video? Do you tell them just to play the game and start killing things? Like what?
It's so funny you asked this, JP, because somebody tweeted this at me yesterday, and I literally responded to them with my suggestion, and I rewrote that tweet probably 10 times trying to fit it into the character limit. Like I was getting down to like buzzwords, like first main story, quests, then this. Like it was like a laundry list. Help. What do we tell these people?
Megan, it's your turn.
Uh-oh.
Oh God.
Oh God.
No,
Delegated.
I
Nice. Good job.
Yeah, good job, Rob. Community work in a nutshell. I think that to try to get someone to understand and want to play the game, and it's not overpowering and it's not like daunting to them. Someone actually at the con, and my brain is fuzzy and I can't remember, but someone suggested that obviously kind of use the internet to your advantage and find a frame that you really like, that really speaks to you. Like if I went on, the internet and was like, oh, I really like Ember Prime or something, I'm going to work towards getting that. And you kind of do it that way. Like, okay, I need to go to this place and this place. And you just kind of follow the star chart and figure it out. And then obviously once you get to your first quest, you're kind of like, okay, now I'm in the story. Now I'm kind of understanding. Because at the beginning, it's not super, second dream or anything lore heavy. And then once you get to that, you're kind of invested at that point, hopefully. Mm-hmm. But I really like the idea of finding something within the game that speaks to you, like a Warframe, and figuring out the path to get to that. And then that's kind of how you figure out how the game works. I thought that was cool.
Do you think it falls on Warframe, not you guys, but when I say you guys, I mean more like the team at large, to kind of dictate where people should start once they get in game? Or is that just something that, like Megan just said, to kind of find your own way and find something that you're interested in?
I think the general find your own fun is a pretty big one for Warframe, but the most hand-holding we do is to have people play the quests, and that's... Oh, sorry, someone's bringing me mail. Sorry. Thank you. Sorry. Just to do the quests, like the game exposes a lot at the same time in terms of like the actual UI windows where you're going to see what you're going to do. And the only pressure we put on players is quest lines. Check out a quest. There's a new quest available. Go to your codex, do a quest. And the hope is that by getting people to do the quests, the actual end result is that they do junctions because they'll see prerequisites. So to complete quest X, you must do the Saturn junction. And then that will trigger the realization that, oh, I need to go to Saturn. And then it kind of becomes a natural desire to complete the solar system.
Sure.
Which is sort of the plan, the master plan of our, putting the track down in front of us as we go. It's great.
Yeah, I can't speak for Ko or Zeke, but I think for me, the biggest pull was kind of those quests. Once I was able to get inside and start figuring out how to get to that and unlocking the proper places, like you said, and kind of going down that path, that was the biggest pull for me. So I would imagine it's somewhat similar to a lot of people's experiences for sure.
Crazy enough, that is the probably the best thing I tell people. They go, what do I do if I want to try Warframe? And I say, honestly, almost treat it like a single player RPG. Like your goal is to make it through the story. And if you have gotten through the second dream and you're not sold on it by that point, like at that point, you're good. But if you make it all the way through that, like experienced it, you've gotten your hands dirty, you know how the world map works, you know how the frames work, you know how the inventory works, like you've been exposed at that point. But that's actually one of the things I love about the prerequisites. You guys provide this really cool roadmap in the game, but it's not like in your face. So it's like you're constantly having this feeling of choice where you go, but at the same time, it's kind of, just like you said, it kind of points you in the right direction the entire game. It's one of the things that I thought was really fun about the game and leveling up. I kind of wish I could do it again. I want a New Game Plus on my account.
I know. New Game Plus is like the biggest thing, because I remember when actually closer to August, we added an account reset where we let players just do that. And then we turned it off because it started creating all these problems. And we were like, we can't do that. But I would love to bring something like that back in some fashion. But God only knows how much is on our list, especially after TennoCon, to do things.
Yeah. Do you come off of TennoCon with just 1,000 new ideas and 1,000 new directions you kind of want to take?
Oh yeah, there's like a lot of what was shown was the first look at what we're aiming to, release in the future, and that on its own is, full content teams working on it. But then you have the in between things of, well, when are you going to release this thing you showed last year? So we had a lot of that for some cosmetics, and there's a lot of game content that just hasn't shipped. That's kind of in between stages, like the stalker mode, which allows you to play as the stalker and invade your friends' groups and stuff. Like yeah. Yeah, Nani. Yeah, so like it works. We had it on the show floor at TennoCon. We've just not parceled it up in a way that is deployable yet, but it's just kind of straddling that. If someone just had 3 weeks of time, we could ship that. But
yeah. Well, we had the dev stream whiteboard literally on the main stage of the things that we want to accomplish this year. So we're being very transparent in terms of these are what we want to accomplish. Cross it off, circle in big letters, Railjack and stuff like that. So
there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, I was the entire time we were watching this, myself, Strippin, and Sacriel and Bikeman, we kept thinking, because you guys kept alluding to it, and we didn't know if it was a goof where you're going to like flip it over and there was going to be some big reveal, but was it just to have up there for stuff that's, planned and whatnot?
Honestly, yeah. Like we did that the first dev stream of the year in January. A lot of players were like, we want to see a roadmap. And that was at like peak industry roadmap time where every dev team was doing roadmaps and we didn't have one. So we're like, let's just do it live, screw it. So
we don't need a fancy webpage. We got a whiteboard.
No, we stole that whiteboard from our stats team and they still want it back to this day, but too bad.
Nice.
And we just started writing on it and explaining everything. And by the time TennoCon hit last week on the weekend, we had crossed off at least 5 or 6 things on the whiteboard at the top there, and then the rest of them are still things that either we explicitly said we're going to do or that players were shouting out in chat in a high enough quantity that we put it on the board. So
sure.
Yeah.
Is watching this just like thinking back? Is this nostalgic at this point, or is it just like, oh fuck, all that happened? This is a real thing. It's
it's the latter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get off the screen, JP. Jesus, stop.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it and I'm like, oh my god, like that was like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and I'm just like, oh, it happened.
Yeah. So is the anticipation already for next year, or are you excited for the break?
Well, we have a problem because we always do it the first Saturday of July, which next year is July 4th. So we have to figure out what we're going to do for next year's
Just
TennoCon.
like put some fireworks there and you're good to go.
Well, no Americans will come and they're a huge part of the crowd. So, or will they come?
Tie it directly into it.
Just
July 4th TennoCon bash.
Give everyone a firework when they check in.
Independent for the space ninjas. Yeah, oh, dude, just go.
Are fireworks legal in Canada? Are there
very
fireworks?
illegal?
Oh, they're illegal.
Yes.
Oh God.
No,
Okay.
they're legal. They're very legal.
Legal. Okay. All right.
Along with many other things. So it's a great.
Sure. Yeah. No. Yeah.
You unveil a red, white, and blue color scheme at TennoCon. That's it. That's all you need. It's like with a little tiny American flag on the top. Done. That's all you would need to do, and everyone would be fine with it.
We'll have bald eagles and everything.
Yeah.
We already got the bald on stage, so we just need some eagles. Hey!
Just give them an eagle. Yeah. Give them an eagle cosplay.
Boom! Mic drop.
That's just.
That's great, dude.
PTSD trigger warning. Ink. There's the bulb right here.
There it is.
Oh, no.
A couple of them. Yeah.
So the joke is complete.
Person? I thought that was a spotlight. I was wondering what that was.
Oh my God.
All right, we're gonna need some extra protection for for the rest
All
of the
right,
show.
I'll start packing my things.
You gotta be careful.
For me.
You gotta be careful.
Ooh.
That's. We will eventually get to everything that you guys announced there at TennoCon, but I kind of want to circle back to we mentioned it prior to the show, and I think we've tons of people that watch the show have always talked about, and we talked about it as well. The community team that you guys are a part of and kind of spearhead. For our interest, I think is one of the best in kind of the industry and is kind of leading the pack in terms of working with streamers and content creators and things like that, and keeping them involved in the game, so to speak. And you guys are doing really cool things on Twitch with like the Twitch drops as being kind of the leaders in that field. So where did all that come from? Was that just a thing like this needs to happen? We see a kind of an opportunity here, or where did that kind of spark begin?
That is a tough question. Well, first of all, thank you. It's kind of like the happy accidents along the way. I genuinely think because we started on Twitch in 2013 February that we're so familiar with the platform as developers, because we've been doing dev streams for 6 years, that we knew the value of community building on the live stream and the YouTube platform just organically because we were doing it ourselves. And then when we saw that other people were giving the game a spotlight on their channels, it was the first sentence we had in our minds was, how do we work with people to build communities together? And that was the goal. It was super organic. And from there, we've been lucky enough to have help from amazing teams on the way. The team itself here has grown to support the partner program, if all of it include in-game fun things for communities. And it's always been from like a wholesome place of just share stuff with your communities and enjoy Warframe together.
Yeah. Megan, anything to add to that? I feel like every time we look at Warframe things or anytime I like think about streaming the game, someone from your team is reaching out and saying like, hey, if you're going to do something like that, here's some codes to give away, or let us know and we'll try to support you in any way possible. And it's very, very few companies are able to do that, I feel. So what allows that to occur? How have you guys facilitated that?
Like Reb was saying, how we have, we've definitely expanded our community team here. And I think it's amazing that everyone on this team is very dedicated to upholding the community standards that we've set for 6 years for Warframe. So even though, it's the weekend or it's a vacation, we're never really off. Like we're always kind of on. So, Rebecca's asleep at her desk. Yeah. But we try to kind of divide and conquer. Now that there are, a bigger group of us, we can now kind of allocate our time everywhere, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube comments even. So we've been able to really kind of divide and conquer those kinds of tasks. And we're just trying to, as the game grows, the community grows, we get bigger. And then we also, obviously, like with Twitch drops and stuff, we have to keep up with the new technology. That's never going to stop. So we will never stop. So we have to keep up with that. So, Twitch drops was an amazing thing. I know everyone who knows Warframe will know that it never works for me and I break it every single stream, but I keep trying. Okay. That's the takeaway.
Yeah. I think we had a pretty long conversation here when you guys first started doing the Twitch drops and the idea that it's, I think I said the term like morally appropriate or morally supported view botting in a sense.
I think it was morally appropriate view botting.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It was something that came out of that sounds something like I would say. So yeah, like, how do you feel about that in that sense? Is it just advertising at that point? And like, how do you think about that in terms of Twitch and the fact that you guys are kind of facilitating numbers simply for people just to like put on another monitor and kind of sit there?
Well, that's a very interesting problem or fortunate problem we have because it's a very interesting phenomenon because on the one hand, yes, it's like for a lot of people, it's just who am I going to watch to get, the free drop of any kind. And I'm sure it even impacted our TennoCon numbers in a colossal way, which is fine because even if they're not chatting, they're there engaging with our content in the stream to support their gameplay, right? So the relationship is not. Yeah, it's kind of hard because it's not a balanced thing because I think a lot of our partners that are streamers do complain from time to time about the view botting, how people are only there for Twitch drops and stuff. So we have kind of scaled back the amount of campaigns we do that are open to the public, which we're working on fixing up so that we can address some of that feedback. But it's interesting because if you look at how many followers and subs people get in that time as well, it's massive too. So
without a doubt, yeah.
Like it's crazy. So it's the good with the bad. It's like, yeah, you have 1,000 new people on your channel. 900 of them are just there for the drops, but 100 of them are going to stick around. And you can measure the growth that channels undergo when we do a viewbot campampign. And it's not.
We need a better word for that. Viewbot is so negative. It sounds so bad. Whatever. Even when I say it, I feel.
It's not viewbotting. It's Twitch drops working as intended.
Promotion campaign.
Viewership promotion campaign. I like that.
Viewership promotion campaign.
You should be on a marketing team, Co. That
Join us.
You don't want
You
me to
can't. Yeah, just give away free stuff all the time. It's great.
Yeah.
You can measure the impact it has on big and small streamers, and it is there. So while not everyone's there for the streamer, some are. So what more can you ask for? I think.
Yeah.
That's advertising 101, right? It's like everyone's going to see your ad, but 1% will act on it. So.
Right. And in some sense, I feel like the onus falls on the streamer to keep those people interested. Like it's what's that stupid baseball movie? If you build it, they will come. Like if the people show up to your stream, it's your job to keep them there in a sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and also something I wanted to address that kind of ties in what you're saying, JP, and also goes back to kind of the Warframe stuff as a whole. You know, I've been on Twitch a long time, and I've joined many different programs that kind of interface directly with developers. But I got to say, you guys have the fundamentally most developed and connected partner program that I have seen on Twitch. Not only that, but it took me over a month, almost 2, to get in. And I was like the biggest streamer in the director every time, and that was awesome.
Yeah,
because that made me want to get in even more.
How good that was.
And then on top of that, like a lot of people don't know this, but like on the back end, the partner program is actually pretty incredible. They have like host sign-up sheets. They're always interfacing with the partners. They're constantly asking us for feedback and stuff. And it's kind of wild. And it makes it when these things come along, like what we're just talking about, these viewer appreciation times, these drop things. It's so cool to see when these happen, that you see these streamers that are playing Warframe all the time for a few hundred viewers. All of a sudden, those exact same streamers are going to 3, 4, 5, 6,000 viewers. And it's like, as somebody who's been through the program, you know, it's like, that guy worked for that. He earned that. And it's awesome to see that. This isn't like some random dude getting a bunch of viewers. Like, this is a Warframe community streamer who is now reaping the rewards of sticking with this. Like, it's fantastic. So I love that stuff. I don't know if you guys get feedback on this. Those drop things are awesome. We love them. The more, the better. Yeah, it's really cool. There's very few people that do that kind of stuff. So yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
The fun thing I think about Twitch drops is we're trying new things based on obviously feedback that we're getting. For the Plains of Eidolon campaign, we did the achievement one where you had to be watching a streamer linked, and if they did a certain achievement in game, then a Twitch drop would trigger. And now we have the monster drop where whoever's streaming, you have to find a specific enemy, kill that enemy, boom, triggers a Twitch drop. So we are definitely trying to take the feedback and make it so that every streamer has their own community. And we obviously, as if they're playing Warframe, that's amazing. And if we can give them a little bit more of something to do in the game other than just playing the game and triggering a Twitch drop. So things like the achievement or the drop monster, I think are definitely a step in the right direction in terms of giving the streamer actually something to physically do to give their community and their viewership the Twitch drop that they're there for.
Yeah. It's definitely when you guys started doing that, it I think for all three of us, and mostly almost every streamer noticed it, and was kind of like, every developer needs to do this. Like, this is something that needs to become a thing that everyone is
Some
doing.
of the devs are doing it. Now
they're totally stealing your shit, without a doubt. Yeah.
Well, you guys definitely are laying groundwork. Like, this is stuff that every company should be thinking about, and you guys are just the ones that came up with it and are innovating first. So it's like this is like, yeah, everyone should be doing what you guys are doing.
I know that like Ubisoft has done some stuff with their charms for specific streamers that they work with for Rainbow Six, and that's been wildly lucrative for those streamers as well. So the more companies that start to explore that type of stuff, obviously for streamers, it's great for us. And I think as long as it doesn't become like too much, and obviously there's a pretty fine line there to not alienate viewers and people in the community, so that they don't feel obligated or they don't feel like it's too much onus on the streamer. Oh, I got to go watch more code to get my drop for this month. That type of stuff.
It's the worst.
I know. I don't understand. I don't understand. Yeah. So I think that stuff is important. I think it's also super cool. And like you said, you're kind of leading the technology with all of that. And we're always so interested to see where it goes. That stuff is popping up almost every single month. And Twitch obviously is starting to work a lot more with developers now and getting out there and stealing y'all's ideas and saying, hey, this is what they're doing. You guys should do this too.
Well, yeah, like credit to the ecosystem as a whole. Like we have our partner team, we have our tech team that makes it all happen truly. And then, when Twitch reaches out about a new opportunity, I remember the first time we did the Twitch Prime with Prime campaign when we gave away Frost Prime, 2 years back. And even that at the time was unheard of for us to give away a Prime item in that fashion. And that turned out to be one of the most successful things we ever did because people got Twitch Prime and then they could use it on partners. And it was just like this ecosystem. It's like like it was just beautiful. It was awesome. So
yeah.
Giant echo chamber of good vibes.
Exactly. Yeah. Good vibes and money.
And financial awesomeness.
Again, marketing, Co. I think you have you got a bright future in the marketing world. If
this is a job interview, right?
It is, yeah. We're not streaming or anything. This is just yeah. Also, Co, put the alcohol down. That doesn't look very good on the job. No, feel free. By all means. By the way, we should also know it's like 86 right now in Co's house, so he's trying to stay cool.
Dude,
with beer.
Yeah, full disclosure. I know it's 1:30 and I'm drinking beer. It's 87 degrees in here. My AC has been out all morning. I'm in sweatpants. I am sweating. It is a miserable experience. So I'm just cooling myself down. That's all it is. That's all this is.
Yeah.
It's just.
This week's episode brought to you by Blue Moon, our new alcoholic sponsor. I wish, man, that'd be fucking killer.
Dude, I've been trying for months. Don't even bother.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're already out.
Is that going to be a new planet in Warframe?
Yeah.
Blue Moon? Like,
It's okay.
Yeah.
No, that'd be great. That'd be
That'd
great.
be great.
Yeah, come on, get Salad 5 to be like, yes, come drink our Blue Moon.
You sound like him a lot. That is
Co's getting into voice acting. He's working. He's working on it. Yeah.
fun.
Stay tuned. The game's coming out.
Exactly.
Oh man. You can be our beer salesman in the relay. He'll give you a
If
nice
you guys ever need voice acting, the door's always open. Just let me know.
We'll design you a character right here, right now.
Uh-oh.
Chad is
Uh-oh.
Well, we'll after a couple more beers,
There you
then
go.
you'll be
Yeah.
Just saying, I could go with a co-prime. We can talk.
Jesus. Anyways, I don't know what we were talking about. That's usually how the show goes.
beer.
Yeah.
That's-
Beer's good. Who owns Blue Moon? Is that Anheuser-Busch? Who owns Blue Moon? Is it who's the
Blue
parent
is
company?
owned I don't know. Government warning? No, that's not
The
it.
government doesn't own Blue Moon.
Blue Moon Brewing Company, apparently.
I'm waiting for Chat to answer this. Chat knows all.
Uh,
Chat's saying Coors, but also Miller.
Makes sense.
We're like in a beer-owned town, so they're probably rivals, which means
Really?
it's going to be.
St. Louis
Yeah.
is Budweiser owns, or I guess Anheuser-Busch owns St. Louis basically. So
And they own because they bought John Labatt, there's a huge brewery here, and they bought it, and then they changed the name of our giant stadium from John Labatt Center to the Budweiser Gardens. So
I see. Okay.
yeah,
All
man.
right. They just need some better beer now, and maybe it'd be
I-
interesting.
It's really funny that you said that just a second ago, but because now in my mind, I'm sitting here like, it'd be cool if we could like have modular frames where you had like a bunch of different abilities that you could put as one. You could like make your own frame. Like now I totally want to do that and come up with like a co-frame.
What are we talking about? Beer? What? Oh, you're talking Warframe stuff.
Warframe.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Like,
Gotcha.
that'd be kind of maybe. We'll say that for a couple years.
Yeah, they got.
We'll get there. We will get there.
TennoCon
There's-
seems successful. They'll keep doing them. They got stuff to announce years from now.
I heard it went pretty well this year.
Yeah.
Like 500,000 viewers or something.
so just as a like a fan, like dumb question, how does it feel to be called mom by like literally thousands of people that you've never met?
It makes sense in context. So I have nothing but joy for it when it happens because everything is in context. The nickname is in context and I can roll with it. And there's still a bright future, I think, for that title of Space Mom. But, we just need to develop it for players to decide whether or not they want to kill me or not.
Yeah, does it give you like an attitude, like when dealing with people, that when they call you Space Mom, does it make you feel like you have to mother them or like speak to them like with a
Wash
wise,
behind your ears.
a wise voice? Yeah, exactly, shit like that.
I actually think it does subconsciously. Like I feel like I need to be slightly more responsible, but I don't know. It's kind of hard because everyone's coming to TennoCon and they're hanging out and they're space mom, and then I'm like, oh yes, let's like hug. How are you? And then it happens. And then Megan gets called Valkyr or Space Ant, and she gets to scream at people.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say
never will do. Never will do it.
Does anyone ever ask you just to scream at them?
All of the time. I think it was last year at the cosplay contest. One of the someone came up as a Valkyr, which was amazing, and she goes, "Can you do the Valkyr scream?" And I was like so on the spot, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Because it's not a normal scream. It's not just like it's like the death scream. Like
how would it sound, Megan? If one were
I can't. I will never do it. I will never do it. Like I'm in the sound booth when it was happening, and like my fists are clenched. I'm like, this is weird, but I'm like squatting down. I'm like trying to do my best, like, and like I'm just like in the moment. I'm sweating. I literally got sick afterwards because my throat was so raw from screaming that I got an infection. I was super sick afterwards.
That's just why you don't hug people at cons. That's just con one. Yeah,
it's true. Don't let me breathe on you. You might get something.
Yeah,
but no. So people do ask me all the time, and when I tell them no, they're like, oh, "You suck. I'm going to go see Space Mom." I'm like,
all I have to do is smile. And
she's got it easy. She doesn't have to scream or anything at people. Yeah.
Hey, Megan, can you do that scream for me? Well, hey, do you have one of those airport sick bags? Because I just didn't do that after.
Are you ready to vomit? Here we go.
Jesus Christ. Is
there something that people ask you, like fans ask you, as far as being Space Mom? They ask you to just say or do or like. Because like when we have Matt Mercer on, everybody's asking what time it is because it's high noon. He's that guy. Is there something like that for you?
There's no like a lot of them just ask why did you leave me, and it's kind of like this.
Oh my heart! Oh my heart!
For new Warframe players, don't look into that at all.
Oh, actually, yeah. And someone at TennoCon, this is actually hilarious. If I can find, where did I put it? Oh, I see it. One sec.
Is that alcohol in there? What is there at the
absolutely,
bottom?
Probably. Oh, that's maple syrup.
I love Jack and Jorts.
No, that's honey. That's honey.
Jack and Jorts combo is epic as fuck. I just gotta say,
Oh, I saw this on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and a kid handed it to me, and he gave me this, and then if you turn it this way, it says betrayer. So
that's cool.
Oh, dude,
that's cool.
So I asked the kid, like, do you think? Like, what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm going to kill you. And I was just like, okay.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, my.
Yeah. That's where you just nod and smile and say, good job, and walk away silently.
I was going to say, by the way, for anyone that may have not yet, right side of Rebecca's screen, you can stop messaging me about it. I saw it.
Oh.
It's amazing.
Oh, the girl. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the girl statue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There he is.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
He's kind of the best part of this office.
You got a lot of stuff there for sure. There's a lot of different toys, but chat can't see most of them because the frame's cut off. But yeah, has the Space Mom thing ever happened outside of a TennoCon? It's just like, dude, come on, like what?
Oh yeah,
I'm shopping for fucking. These are donuts. Okay, let me get my donuts.
It always happens when I have like a friend with me that has nothing to do with video games, and they like then think like I'm kind of cool, and I'm like, yes, I've tricked you. So
that's good. Yeah, that's a good plus for sure. Going to the movie and you just get called Space Mom, and thanks. Yeah,
it happened at in Toronto. Yeah, I was in Toronto for the last finals. I don't remember. No, I wasn't. I was in. Anyway, it happened with my brother as well, and he was like, "What the hell?" So that was cool.
You're like a big deal, aren't you?
Yeah.
No, well, it was just like it was because he's like, "What the hell?" and it was funny.
It's good. I want to talk about the story without talking about the story, so we're going to talk around it here. You mentioned and you showed kind of the Space Mom betrayer thing. How do you approach discussing that on a show like this, or even to new players and veterans, when it's such an easy thing to ruin for people? Do you just talk around it? Like what? Because
do you just assume that everyone's up to that point? I'm guessing that's probably the easiest thing to do. Like probably the one that makes the most sense.
I don't know. What do you think, Mike? I'm trying to think of how we avoid it.
It's such a weird line between, do you want to talk about it because a lot of people know about it, and obviously we try not to spoil anything. Like, yeah, I will try not to spoil anything, but when, Second Dream War Within came out, obviously the main part of what is shown there, we didn't use that in any, marketing or any, even the patch notes was in a spoiler. Like, if you've not played Second Dream or War Within, do not look at these patch notes because we fixed this, that's going to spoil the quest. So we try really hard, especially, as soon after an update goes out, to not really talk about it as much. We're obviously excited about it and you can tell, and then down the line we talk about it. But even now, like, I feel bad saying spoilers. And what I think is really great, especially with streamers, is you see people in chat trying so hard to get people to stop talking about it, especially if someone like if Ko or whoever is maybe streaming up to Second Dream for the first time, everyone in chat's like, shut up, like, don't say anything.
There was a funny moment when we were watching TennoCon, and Sacril just started kind of playing Warframe, and I think he's streaming it right now. I've been super into it the past couple of days since TennoCon, and there was a moment where, God, how do we talk? Where something happened, and he goes, wait a minute, what is that person doing there? And we were all just like, I don't know.
I don't know.
That happens all the time. It's a bug. Sometimes
I don't know, Chris.
The model they used. It's a bug. Just
what is that person doing there? We all just like tried not to talk about it. And I don't think it was spoiled for him. And that's usually how it happens, is something like whenever I'm playing the game on stream, I never want to push 5. Because there's so many people watching, people might be seeing it for the first time. I never want to like have that occur.
I'm an energy dash user, so it every time I try to make it as quick as possible. So I'll be like, look over there, and then
it's definitely rough. I don't know how to like fix that either, or
after like 200 hours of playing, like, because I mean I sock some time into the game, and in before chat is like, I have like 300 plus hours, and in before chat's like 300 amateur. I have like 3,000 hours.
Downloaded the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, like, what I wanted to say was how like cool it was that never happened to me after like 200 hours of playing. Like, I never saw that. No one ever like revealed anything. Like, nothing ever happened. Like, people really, really like cool about like that kind of stuff. And as soon as it happened the first time, I did the same thing. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck just happened?
Right.
What the fuck's going on?
I'm pretty sure that happened to me too in a mission.
What have I been doing this whole time?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it kind of what Megan said, like when you're streaming it, I think some of that starts from kind of the top with you guys in the sense of how you kind of approach it. Because for the better part of my entire like 60, 70 hours that I streamed, no one talked about the Second Dream. They only asked if I had done it. They never asked like, what did you think? What happened? They never discussed anything. It was like, where's he at right now in the story? That was the constant question. So I feel like that's a top-down type deal where you guys kind of facilitate that manner of speaking about it, and the community has responded well to it, thankfully, right? Because it would suck if the community was out there just spoiling everything across all streams and kind of ruining that whole surprise for people.
It's something interesting with Warframe is unlike other games for some reason, and I don't know how you guys have somehow crafted this atmosphere, but for some reason the Warframe community has more fun not spoiling. They really like seeing streamers reach this stuff and see this stuff for the first time. In fact, when I was doing my first run through Warframe, kind of like with JP, where it was kind of like people would ask all the time, like, has he done this quest? Has he done this quest? Has he done this quest? And when I inevitably would be like, no, I haven't done that. I haven't done that yet. They're just like, oh, cool. Okay, I'm gonna hang out. Let's do this. Like, okay, can't wait to see it. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And it would be funny because you'd see these streams where you're working through the story, just get like more and more and more viewers, and you keep seeing the same thing. Has he done X quest? Has he done X quest? No? Okay, great. Let me get some popcorn. And it's just like they'll just hang out and watch the react. But I don't know, man. Like, kind of like you, JP, I got spoiled one time before the end of Second Dream. And funny enough, people told me it was a bug, and I just went with it. I was like, oh, okay. Like, oh, whatever. Like, one guy, we're doing one of the farming missions right before the Second Dream main mission, and he popped out of his thing and did a few zaps and went back in. I was like, what the hell was that? And all of chat was just like, oh, bugged NPC. Just keep going. Shut the come on, guys. Keep playing. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I had a pretty fun experience in the sense that, you know, so many people are like, where are you at? Did you finish Second Dream? Blah, blah, blah. That when I got to it, I don't really show much emotion that often. And so I was just kind of like, oh, cool. Chat was so angry with me because I didn't react in like I didn't have the like YouTuber reaction where I just start flipping fucking tables and shit. And so they got very upset with me. And in turn, I got very upset with chat. And it was just a bad experience.
That was a great stream.
Yeah, because I was just angry that they were angry that I didn't show emotion because they're like new to the stream and whatnot. So it was a bad
Like, I'm just being me. This is just how I am.
Yeah.
JP, you really should have reacted harder. Like
It was pretty even kill. It was like, oh shit, okay, now let's make. And then I like Zeke's reactions the best because Zeke just sat there and made the like silliest voice. Somehow you found like the one voice that was just ridiculous. And, like,
Still to this day, one of my most viewed clips is I'm confused.
That's what it was. I remember that.
Oh my god,
it was good stuff.
Yeah.
I will say though, it's really interesting because the progression through the story, again, without talking about spoilers, and a lot of people have seen this, the progression of the story is pretty big. If you're like invested in what's going on, you get up to the end of Second Dream and it's just like, oh my god. But the thing on top of that is it's not only a big reveal, but you guys introduce like a pinnacle of mechanics. Like with the Second Dream and with that big spoiler reveal comes what an endgame player would call like a huge mechanic to the game. So I can only imagine how much more harder that makes it to like not talk about it. Because like I've had trouble when I've been streaming and I'm kind of like, okay, everyone go turn around. I need to go look at this. And then I'll run to the back of the ship and really quickly try to do that as quick as I can. And then be like, okay, I can turn around now. And I'll run out of the ship.
Right.
And yeah, that must have been interesting to make like that much importance be behind that big of a barrier. Especially for the new players and considering like it's a free-to-play game where you want to bring in all those folks. So it's wild. I appreciate that you guys did it because I love the mechanics, but it must make it just that much harder to talk about.
Yeah.
it does, and it's kind of like you're speaking a different language to two different users. The new users who you want to play this sweet free-to-play game, and then there's the people that are there because they care about what the free-to-play game has become. And that language is one of, stories with warmth and betrayal and very high stakes for the world, as we showed in the new war trailer thingy at TennoCon. And then for someone that's never played the game before, they're like, what the hell does this all mean? I'm just here because my brother said I should watch. And it's like that with, because we're a 7-year-old game now. So at this point, you kind of expect your vocabulary to develop into one that speaks to these veteran players. And Warframe is just such a complex game, and you want to be able to have those conversations with those people, but at the same time, you want new people to come play it, and it just becomes this eternal war of.
Mm-hmm. We even on Prime Time that we've been doing for like 5, almost 6 years now. We even say if we're doing something that has a spoiler in it, we're like spoiler, and we added, creator mode to the game that hides a lot of those spoilers if they want to, do.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah. No problem.
But it's wild to also think about, not only on top of that stuff, but with the spoilers, the spoiler mode especially, like that basically allowed me to go back to that city after I got Max Faction, because I had to avoid it completely for a while.
Even on Prime Time, we had to put a giant black box on the screen just to physically hide what was going to happen. And we're like, don't look. We got to do it, but we want to play that content, so we have to hide it somehow to make our own creator mode.
Does any of that dictate like future development plans in terms of what you may or may not add into it? That maybe there's already too many things that you can't show, so you want to put stuff in there that you can show in terms of story? Or is it just kind of like whatever makes sense for the game works?
Honestly, it's more the latter, like whatever makes sense for the game works. But because I think we always have this one-up attitude, which is definitely not sustainable. Because I remember when we first released the Second Dream in 2015, it was like we got addicted to that feeling of surprising our players. But we're a pretty open dev team, so we try not to say, we still want to have surprises up our sleeves. So we just need to be very careful with how we execute them in content that doesn't feel gimmicky, I guess. So it has to make sense for the content. So for the whole Fortuna and the Solaris people, their secret made sense given everything that had been established before then. But yeah, so it's tough.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
So what are some of the twists you guys are working on right now?
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, everyone just close your stream, mute it real quick. We're gonna talk. We'll let you know when to unmute. Yeah.
TennoCon was definitely like twists the hour, so that was something that we are very lucky no one leaked ahead of time.
Yeah, let's jump into it because you guys, I don't even know where to begin in the sense of the stuff that you showed. So where would you like to begin? Like what was for you guys, what was the thing that was like, fuck, I hope this plays. Like, I hope this works. I really want this to go well. Was it everything?
I was going to say, did you pre to the demo?
Well, sure. Yeah. No, I know that. But I'm just saying for you specifically, like what, was there one thing that outweighed the other in terms of like, I really hope this plays and I hope people are super into this?
Honestly, the trailer we worked on with Dan Trachtenberg was huge because we had that is the longest project we've ever worked on for a single project as a studio. This right here, we have never spent so long on one video ever. So for like from development to writing to actual creation. So this for me was like, how are players going to react when they see this? Because Dan, like he's such a huge Warframe fan, and it was so crazy that we got to work on him with it, and then to finally hit that play button and be like, here it is. Oh boy.
Yeah, this was a treat to watch for sure.
That was, wow.
Yeah, it was good. I guess.
I want a Warframe.
What was that, Co? I talked over you.
I said I want a Warframe movie. Now that I've seen this trailer,
right.
I want 1.5 to 2 hour movie that I can pay money to go see that explains like basically all of. I just want to see more of this for like an hour and a half. That's all. I just want this for an hour and a half.
Yeah, this was real cheap, right? It didn't take that much time, so we could just spin into a full movie. Okay, yeah, great. You guys know people. You can make it done day or two, easy.
Totally
people
cheap.
just want a TV show, Netflix special. That's awesome.
Megan and I are gonna go stand in front of the Netflix headquarters until they give us a show. It's fine. It'll go well.
Check us out.
Yeah, we'll see how The Witcher goes. Maybe it'll open up games.
Yeah, if Witcher can do it, I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
We just need to write a book.
Right. Yeah, you got to get the book started for sure. And then you got to say, then you'll have that whole conversation like, is the book better or is the game better? I don't know. Was that
maybe I'm not. I may be out of the loop. Book.
Oh no, that was just a joke because the Witcher is based a game. Based
no,
on
Zeke doesn't know what a book is.
I'm sorry.
Is
book is
yeah.
a bunch of different pieces.
I know not this book you speak of.
Yeah. We don't read things around
it's just
here.
letters, really, just doing dances.
A book is like a web page, a bunch of them that you flip through.
Well, that's dumb.
In your hands, you hold this thing.
It's amazing. It's a new technology. It's incredible.
All right, we're drawing out a really dumb joke way too long.
No,
so
I'm into it. I'm.
Let's move on.
People are watching this. They're not listening to us talk. They're watching the cinematic trailer here. So this is what's gonna play for people now in the beginning, right? That was kind of the thing here. This is the new intro to the game, so to speak.
Yep. That's the one. All your 3 starter frames are there. They're kicking ass. People are going to be like, oh, which one do I pick? They all looked so cool and powerful. And then the hard choices begin in Warframe right after this video because they're going to have to decide who would you pick based on displays of power in this video alone is the question.
I don't know. That bow is pretty cool.
Had a lot of fun with some of the more long-term Warframe aficionados going over this video and being like, who exactly are they fighting? What time period is this? Well, look at that unit. Well, look at that guy. Look at this guy. What's going on right here? What battle is this? Like, It's amazing what some of the people have done to this and to break down like, oh, that's this ship type. That's that enemy type. That nails down this time zone. And this happened at this point. Oh,
yeah,
man.
people have dissected it real hard.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love it.
This transition is awesome, and then the end of it is also when it just says the 2 words. It was really good. It was awesome.
I got to record that in Hollywood during LA. I was at a secret, like we got to go to like a Hollywood studio. Yeah, a real soundstage. It was crazy, and it was apparently the same one Keanu recorded in. So I guess we're connected somehow.
Breathtaking.
Right.
Sorry.
Friends.
We're friends now. We're microphone
1 degree away from Keanu Reeves.
Did the microphone smell like him?
It did.
Did you smell the mic?
They just don't
I
clean
sniffed
that
it.
mic anymore after Keanu uses it.
I don't blame him. I wouldn't either.
Jesus. Let's skip ahead here and the stuff that you guys showed and jumped. Well, before we even talk about what's happening here, new engine is a thing.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I
So-
didn't anticipate. Did people expect that, or was that just
I
kind of like,
actually think-
by the way, we're making a new engine?
So Steve actually misspoke. I have to. It's not that we've made a new engine. We've
Okay.
made a new engine renderer. So what we've done is
Okay.
we've taken the old renderer and just completely redone it. So now that if Steve were here, he would actually. I'll call him Steve. Quickly, they're asking about the renderer. But yeah, it's basically taking all the assets and making them look incredible and adding real shadows, lights in a way that Warframe hasn't supported before to this fidelity, and it's pretty stunning. I mean, it definitely speaks for itself when you can see old content
Yeah, let me
rendered in it.
see if I can pull up the.
And
Warframe-
Okay, help me out here. You guys did change the ship, right?
We did.
Yeah, the
The
top.
glass thing, it is bigger.
It's new materials, and it's all supported with the new rendering. So what you can see here, so you can see the details. See right there, the reflections on the floor, the logo
Yeah.
reflecting. So
Oh, yeah.
it's using the new art assets entirely. Like it's all been redone. It's the same layout. It's just new textures on the walls, new materials here. That whole top part there above the incubator is all, you can see the new metal and how the lighting and the reflectivity and the diffusion is supported there. So it's all
A lot of
pretty.
buzzwords. I'm into it.
I know. I'm just like, I'm gonna open a Slack channel right now, and Steve's gonna be like, "What the hell are you saying?" It's right.
So it's interesting.
It's good.
We got into this small debate in my channel where there was one group saying they're absolutely positive it's not, another group saying they're absolutely positive it is. Did you guys actually widen the ship?
Yeah, the avatar looks smaller in this sense because of how many.
Some people
yeah.
are adamant that you did, and others are adamant that it's just because we can see out the top that it looks big.
I think this just looks bigger. I can
Okay.
ask our environment. I said I wouldn't type or click, so I can't find out until after the stream. But I don't think we actually physically changed the space.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
It's,
Okay.
an
I mean,
old, it's an old interior decorator trick.
Yeah.
It's-
Power of
add-
windows.
No, seriously, add more reflective surfaces. Things like
Look
they
bigger.
open up and they look bigger
Sure.
for sure.
That's a
The
trick for showing.
Exactly. The arsenal's been reshaped a bit, but the actual width of the entire spot is, I think, the same.
Okay.
Cool. Whatever it is, it looks gorgeous, especially that top window. That looks so good. It's like a skylight in a car. It's so nice.
Yeah.
So
Definitely
just a quick question, like on the list of like hierarchy of what's most important, like Warframe is one of the most gorgeous and detailed, and like if you have the machine to run it, it's among the best looking games I've ever played. How does it how important is that when compared to like other aspects of the game, like story or multiplayer and stuff like that? Like the performance of the game itself, is that because it seems like it's the top thing that you guys focus on?
I think that's by virtue of our creative director also being a graphics programmer. That's where he
yeah, that
started-
makes
that's where
perfect
he-
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so he started doing graphics programming. So he's very, very much an advocate to make it the best looking game possible, while also, creatively directing it. And the team that we have supporting that vision are top in the industry. Like they are just capable of making all of this very unique Warframe aesthetic sing in our tools and engine. So it's just
Yeah, and they're crazy ahead of their time. Like we're working on this before TennoCon, working on Railjack and the rendering, and I get messages from our performance team being like, all right, how does it look on console? They're already trying to make that work and shipping it in the best way as possible. So the team is already trying to figure that out, and kudos to them for sure.
This might not be something that you guys can answer, but I'm going to ask it anyways because I'm an asshole. What new consoles are obviously something that will eventually release. Is this something that'll come to PC first and then filter it way down, or is it something that you want to release all at the same time, or how does that get handled? Or how would you handle that if that was something that may or may not occur? There you go.
Well, I can tell you, I can answer your question by saying everything we showed will come out on PC first, typically. So
Okay.
Everything we release enters the PC ecosystem. Depending on the content type, sometimes it simultaneously launches, but most of what we showed will probably come on PC first, unless there's like a really amazing unification that happens, which I don't know if it will.
Okay, gotcha.
And I want to believe you guys are like at the top of your game, but I saw you guys use Internet Explorer.
Yeah, so let's talk about that right there. Let's talk about this production snafu. Did you hit the Internet Explorer key on the keyboard, or what happened? I saw that happen, and I immediately was like, "Wait, is this running in a? Is this like running in a browser?
I thought it
What's
was
happening here?
Edge, yeah, whatever that is. Yeah.
Is this Stadia? What's going on here? So let's talk about it.
So JoJo, eh? That anime sure is.
No. Anime won't save you now. No.
Drink. You said it. Drink.
Yeah, it's true. You got
Already on it.
Yeah, that was either a key on the keyboard I hit while reaching forward to grab the keyboard for other purposes, or it's just I'm a bit of a clumsy person. What can I say?
Yeah, in that moment, that's when Steve was like, all right, Megan and Danielle get up on stage. So Reb had to get out of her seat, let us pass by. And then when you sat down, I think you just smashed your keyboard by accident. And me being a paranoid person, I sit in my seat, I'm ready, I'm sweating. And all I hear is Reb go, and I just look over.
Yeah, that's a hard
see,
skip.
like,
Yeah,
I just saw a white screen. And I was like, oh my God, she crashed. I was like, we're done. This is it. And then I see it, I'm like, oh wait, the Internet Explorer logo. Never mind. Good. Fine.
It was fine. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
You guys, I don't think it turned into a meme or anything. You just skipped over it, and it was fine. It was good.
It's fine. I've done much worse live, so at the very least.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay. So while we're watching this, I have to ask you guys. So from seeing the first bit of him, are we calling it Railjack or Empyrean now?
Empyrean, we're supposed to, but you can call it what you want.
So after seeing the beginning to end demo of Empyrean, this literally looks like you created a completely different game and added it into Warframe. Is this one of the biggest things you guys have done in terms of like Warframe expansion and mechanics increase? Because on our end, this looks completely wild in terms of what it's going to offer, in terms of what we can do, in terms of how much more gameplay value it's going to add to the game. Like it's astounding. So from your perspective, do you guys see this as kind of like, you know, an expansion like every time, or is this like a really like something really big that you guys haven't done before? Kind of like where does it rate on your production?
Unlike anything we've done in terms of content deployment, like it really will be that different that it doesn't just give you a second, you know, expansion to go look at. It is core to going from point A to B, and it'll provide goals and content throughout that entire experience. I think Megan might. I think that's right, Megan?
No, I absolutely agree, because I remember, you know, last year when Steve, creative director, showed us the script just for this demo alone, and I was like, there is no way we can do that. Like, that's not going to work. That's not achievable. That's just insane. And then when we started actually demoing it, I'm like, oh my God, this is actually possible. Like, this is. And it was scary, because even Steve touched on it during TennoCon. Like, we're not going to show you a new open world like we have been for the past 2 years. We're going to show you connection. We're going to show you something that we thought was unobtainable, and we're going to make it happen. And we did, which is insane to me. And yeah, I think it's not new open world. It's not massive like that, but it's you know, it's space massive, and it is connection. And I think that's been not missing from Warframe, but it's a very much appreciated addition, I think, to be able to connect people on Earth, on Valis, and that stuff to help you out in space. Like, I think it's incredible.
Yeah, people in my chat were flipping out with Fish Team 6. Like, that was incredible. Like, all we could think about, and we actually talked about this for a good bit after the thing. It's like, we can bring our entire clan into these events now, potentially. Like, having people doing whatever they want all around the world, and then all of a sudden we're all part of this one big event. I don't know how far you guys are going with that, but the further you can go, the better. This is amazing. It's going to be awesome. Like, that looks so much fun.
There was a comment in my chat when it all happened that I think it was Steve who kind of sparked when he mentioned the Moon of Endor situation, but someone said that they're making a better Star Wars game than the people making Star Wars game because of how that's like working. And I thought about it, it's like, y'all should maybe hit up Disney and say, hey, look what we're doing.
You should at least license the lightsaber.
Yeah, send in the Keanu meme and say, check this shit out, and then just say, hey, check this out. Yeah, it was good. It was good. The thing that immediately went where my mind went is fantastic. First time doing this. What does the 1,000th time look like? Like, is there enough variance to where?
I think that's what everyone's wondering right now.
Yeah.
If you play like core Warframe corridor shooter, it's procedural, right? So you can do the same mission over and over again. It'll be a different layout every time. And that is going to work in the Railjack missions. So you're going to have procedurally generated missions in the Railjack setting. So whether or not it's like a capture, exterminate, or any variant of that actual mission type, the point A to B moments are going to be procedural. The resources are going to be, up to you to find and grab. So it's, in theory, based on how replayable core Warframe is, whether or not you're burnt out on it, notwithstanding, the replayability of it has shown itself for 7 years. So you can imagine that applied to the Railjack, design philosophy, it should, based on our evidence of surviving, have replayability.
Sure.
In that context.
Yeah. I mean, 7 years obviously working on the thing. There's going to be a lot of replayability. That's a huge focus, I would assume. Cody, you got that look on your face. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just a quick question we had during this, because that actually, something you just said reminded me of this. So something that's really great about Empyrean is the fact that you guys are integrating a mechanic that the community as a whole, I don't want to say disliked, but they definitely wanted to see developed more, which was the arc wing mechanic of kind of seeing that kind of extrapolate out into something bigger. Now we see it as a personal transport vehicle in Empyrean, which is phenomenal. That brings up the next interesting question. Is Empyrean going to be an end game mechanic? Are people that are starting Warframe going to be able to experience Empyrean, or is this going to be the kind of thing where you need to get through like basically 40, 50 hours of content before you can even kind of start considering it? Is that something that has been talked about yet? If not, feel free to move on. But I'm just kind of curious if new players will get to experience Empyrean at all.
To be honest, that's one. Oh yeah, what were you gonna say, Nick?
Oh, I think we kind of mentioned even just like the dry dock itself, like having the clan to build a dry dock, like that's gonna, take some time to do to get the right resources to make it happen. But go ahead, Reb.
No, that was going to be my answer. Like the dry dock is step one, so you need to at least be in a clan or create a clan that can support the garage essentially for your Railjack, which is part of the Empyrean expansion, whatever. Then that's kind of the decision you can make a bit later in the prerequisite game, because you can kind of just say, all right, prerequisite equals whatever, not that literal, but you can kind of decide that late on, and then you can scale the difficulty of the content accordingly. I think like core Warframe, I can invite a new player to go play a mission in the Void with me, even if they don't have the Void unlocked. I'm thinking what's going to happen is I can invite someone to come be on my spaceship, even if they don't have their own.
Okay.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no reason to not allow that unless one comes up along the way, but that's probably going to be closer to how it plays out.
Awesome. Yeah, because I was getting a lot of questions in my chat after it, like, I'm a solo player. Am I going to be able to participate in Railjack? I'm a new player. Am I going to be? Because there were people that were seriously like, I wasn't really huge into Warframe, but this looks amazing. How do I play this? So I'm wondering, like, how do we conveyor about those players getting kind of like hooked into the core and then kind of move into the Railjack that way? But yeah, that's I think that answers a lot of those. So appreciate it.
Yeah, and the chat was actually just talking about it because someone asked that the Railjack, everyone has their own Railjack. The
Railjack being the ship, right?
Yes,
okay,
yes. The dry dock is just kind of like Reb said, the garage. So you have a clan. It could be a clan of one person. You have your 1-car garage, or you have your clan of 500. You have a 500-car garage, but everyone has their own Railjack ship.
So one player would have the potential to build his own Railjack hangar?
Yeah, if you're in a solo clan, which a lot of people are, you can build your own Railjack. Like it's per clan, but you summon.
Okay.
So the summoning of the Railjack is localized to that player. Like you're always summoning your own Railjack, but the garage is a shared room. And even if you're in a solo clan, you can build your own dry dock and summon your own Railjack. So
Now,
very cool. Awesome.
You probably can't talk specifics, but how much platinum would one spend to get the railjacks built immediately?
This may surprise you, but those are the last decisions we make like 2 minutes before launch. It's like, oh right, we got to put a platinum price on this. Well, how much does the Roomba cost? Double it. Who knows? Like,
Oh Jesus!
I know. We that's a
I've got
super.
15 of those things. Oh.
So have you seen Strippin's ship before, Co? And Reverend? He has 100 of them.
Yeah,
I saw the video of him just spawning them all, and it was just madness.
That's where I started the sponsored stream on Saturday. Was in his ship with 100 fucking Roombas, and they were just.
What's the sound? What does it sound like in there?
Sounds like hell, I would assume. Like a cacophony of just noises, and then a British
I got us to
person
about
screaming.
15, and I said, "That's enough for my ears."
Yeah. There's.
It is an abomination.
He has a lot. Yeah, I think this whole thing just everyone was freaking out in terms of what was being shown, and the other one was just so many different questions. And I'm sure you guys have gotten a lot of questions after the fact. What are some of the bigger ones that you've seen more frequently? Basically, I'm being lazy and like, what's the question that you've gotten asked the most?
When is it releasing?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Obviously, who knows when it's done?
When it's ready.
Yeah.
My answer always.
Yeah.
I think everyone prefers, so that's just fine.
Yeah.
We got plenty to do until then.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of a tangent, but I'm sure you guys are aware that that's become like a positive thing and popular thing now, that the gaming community is just like, please don't like crunch as little as possible and make sure it's ready when it's ready. Like, what is that like as community devs? Are you just like, what the fuck what is our job? Like, they're happy. They want us to work longer on the game. What is that like?
I actually, when at TennoCon, I think the night before, we're talking to GameSpot, and he kind of asked me a similar question, and also about kind of like struggles over the years. And one of the things for me, and I think especially as a community team, when we have to delay something, or we might commit to something and we miss it, that's hard to do, because we are transparent with our community, so we let them know as soon as we can, sorry guys, we missed the mark, but we're working really hard to get it out next week or something. And the fact that it has become the kind of response you get is, it's okay guys, like, don't worry about it, like, get it the best you can and don't crunch and stuff like that. So that is super heartwarming for us to hear, because we're already kind of down on the fact that we've missed that mark. And we do the best we can to keep morale up. Don't worry guys, keep going, it's fine. Like, and then we can literally be like, look, the community are giving us this kind of support with, they understand, they get it, and they want us to make it as best as we can, which is what we're trying to do. Right.
Yeah, it's weird seeing that shift the past 9 months to a year with the idea of Jason Schreier out there posting a new article every single week of X Dev Studio crunching on a game and all that stuff. Yeah, it's weird to see that, but it's good to see that. Like, I'm not saying I want game devs to work hard. No, I take crunch is bad. Take all the time. It's really cool to see that type of stuff. How does it feel? What's the flying like? If you could describe the controls, because you guys were obviously playing this, a lot of people were wondering, like, how free is it in the sense? Like, what can you describe what the flying actually feels like?
It's totally free flight. Every axis you can hit. It's just big, so the Arcwing allows you to do more like controlled point A to B, like espionage movements, and then the railjack itself, it goes super fast. And I think like I was taking a path that I knew we could hit some asteroids or enemies along the way, but I could have gone in any direction, and I'm pretty confident the next dev stream we do will showcase the freedom of movement a bit more, so everyone could be like, oh, awesome. Yes, you can do it.
That's something we were wondering a lot. Like, these Empyrean levels look very detailed and they look packed. Is this the kind of thing where when we bump an asteroid, our ship is going to be bumping off it? Or are we going to be like just kind of charging through asteroids to get from point A to point B, and they're just going to be exploding off our hull kind of thing?
It depends how big it is. I think you can see my health meter at the top there is at 499 4. It
Yep.
should be at 5,000, but I hit an asteroid and I took a bit of damage. So
Wow.
the size of the asteroid will determine that. I think I might hit another. Those ones you can just fly through that tiny little one. But the bigger the asteroid, the more damage to your core hull. I don't have my shields up right now, so I can't deflect hull damage as easily. But that's the type of importance the pilot has to not destroy their.
And there's
Good
that
to
moment
know.
in the dry dock where you can reinforce your hull, you can reinforce your engine, so you can. Will we ever make it? A busting through rock kind of ship? I don't know, but you can
Resource
reinforce
farming or
it.
something like that. Burnout
Yeah,
mode. Just put a burnout mode in here. That'd be great.
Well, while we're on this, another we got this question a lot during it too. At one point, you guys snapped to an outer left view outside. Are you going to allow us to fly in actual third person? Like, will we be able to pull the camera back like behind and up from it and actually fly like in third person?
Also, why is Megan laughing?
Because Steve added that camera view on the Thursday before TennoCon, and I had to figure out when to use it. So the
Awesome.
answer
Look
is
good. Well, no, like right when that happened, everyone's like, "Oh God, we got a third person view! Awesome! It's gonna be so much easier to fly." And I was immediately like, "I don't like. Let's hold on that. Like, let's check to see if that's actually like a thing or a dev thing." But like, we're wondering if
I'm
you
just
are.
getting so much anxiety right now.
oh, those cameras. Okay, so real story. There was actually 3 cycling camera views he added, but the other 2 were not. Like, one was a rear-facing camera, and one was a top. Not there is no true third-person flying, but one of them was a top projection, and you had to cycle through all of them before you got back to your core pilot view, and like. I had to go to get through them all. So eventually they only added the left sort of Battlestar Galactica view. And then
Gotcha. That was just for like presentation
Well,
purposes.
you guys should keep that in. It looked great. Like that was a very cinematic perspective. So it looked really cool.
I think that for all the work they've done on making the game look good, if we removed that, it would be self-defeating.
Yeah. It literally just speaks to like how we operate. Like we've been working on this demo for so long, it literally changed every single day as we kept playing it. And then like Reb said, like 2-3 days before the convention, wouldn't it be cool if ... implement
Yeah. So
all right, change everything you do.
that was one of those things that last night when I was kind of talking or thinking about what I wanted to talk about. Does it help what you guys do in terms of your community management and developing of the game that there's no like corporate overlords? Like I'm sure there's someone that you guys have to answer to at the end of the day, but they're not really like saying, no, we can't do that because it's going to take 6 weeks through all the different checks that would happen at like another game company where you guys don't necessarily have that. So is that something you guys see as like a huge boon?
Yeah, it's amazing because we get to all our victories are our victories, but then it's also terrifying because all our failures are our failures. We don't get to
Sure.
defer the blame to like, oh, well, our publisher said we should sell you loot boxes. Like, oh, no, that was us. But yeah, so it's great. We have total creative freedom in every possible way. And that in its own, I think it sounds like that's a rare or hopefully growing less rare phenomenon in the industry. And it is just so magical to be a part of that.
Yeah, you're definitely seeing like more successes with obviously like Bungie just got away and now they're doing their own thing and GGG is out there, been doing their thing for years with Path of Exile. And so I think the more successes that you start to see, people start to see that it's possible as long as it's done right in terms of like monetization and all that stuff.
Yeah, the Path of Exile game's amazing. I love them.
Yeah, Bex is great.
Anyone going to ExileCon? Anyone going to New Zealand for their con?
I haven't
I
decided yet.
wish. Oh man,
It's like a 28-hour trip.
It's so far.
Whenever we talk about free to play devs in the channel, and I know I'm not the only streamer to say this, GGG and DE.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you want to know how to do free to play right? GGG and DE. Like those are the 2 companies that continually nail it.
Yep.
So yeah, you guys are doing well in that regard.
Yeah. Is it the type of thing where you see, a new story pop up from another AAA dev and you're just like, man, that corporate overlord shit, it really just that's got to be rough. Like it's not that team's responsibility. It's the people up at the top of the tower, so to speak.
Like the Exodus Epic exclusive.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, sure. I mean, name a news story, right? Like they're all kind of relevant in this situation. Is it the type of thing where you look at that and you're like, sigh of relief?
I am super conflicted because like I honestly I don't know what it's like anywhere else. This is my first industry job. I know, and like, yeah, Meg and I, like, we kind of see the news all the time, and we're like, how are we avoiding that? Or, you know, what's going on that's happening? And I wish it was as simple as like, oh, an evil corporate overlord that only cares about being in the black on the charts is probably responsible for that decision. I don't know if that's true. I feel like a lot of the complexities of those types of decisions are probably rooted in things we'll never know, and no one would ever want to. So it's hard because everything. Yeah, I don't know. This is tough.
Yeah.
So, just in case any other game developers are listening,
Uh-oh.
And want like lessons or whatever, say you guys Warframe has a new update, and the fans of the game that have been playing it forever just hate it. They're like, this is terrible. We don't like it. How do you guys deal with that? Like both internal and external, if you can go into any details.
That happens with PoE leagues, for example. That has definitely happened before.
Yeah, hot and cold league. Yeah. What does failure look like on the community team? To kind of like concise the question a little bit. How is that dealt with and internally?
I think that, you know, like Reb said, our failures are our failures, and we take that as a team. You know, I talk about this all the time, but I'll go back to when we canceled trials, or we took trials out of the game. Is one of the hardest literal days of my career, because I felt like that was all on me, because actually Reb wasn't there that day. She had taken the day off. And so when stuff like that happened, I know. He came in afterwards, though, to console me. So like something like that happens, and as a person on the community team, you know how that's going to affect the entire player base. And I spent all day writing the PSA on we're taking trials out of the game, but I knew no matter how much kindness and understanding I put into that, it wasn't going to be a happy perceived from the community, right? So like I knew that, so I'm all day working on that. And so it really, the fact that we are such a close team, and that I can be having a day like that, Reb can be having a day like that, and we really pick each other back up in terms of, this isn't a you thing. This is we might have made a mistake, or this obviously wasn't going to go as positively as we might have thought, but all we can do is take it day by day and just really try to explain to them our reasoning behind it and stick to that. Because in the end of the day, you know, we did take it out, but we said we're going to bring it back, and we are going to bring it back, and it just has to take time, right?
Is it transparency?
Reb is over there going like, "Oh yeah, I was so sick that day."
That was a weird day, because I was like, okay, I can't come in today, and then it was like, oh, trials are gone.
Shit, I have to go in. Yeah.
No, it was, Megan did a great job with how things escalated that day, because at the end of the day, when you have a dev team working on content that is in need of constant iteration repairs, because the complexity of them, they were our only 8-player mission types, right? So if you don't know what a trial is, it was our 8-player raids. They were puzzle based, and they had tons of issues, and we released 2 of them. They were super, super buggy in a lot of ways, despite them being pretty fun if you knew what you were doing. And this is like the amount of, let's just say, trials have been gone for a bit, and that was our TennoCon where we showed Railjack. So you kind of get to decide where you want to put the dev resources, and ultimately Railjack isn't trials, but it's going to have a very cooperative focus for some people that want to take it that way to do certain things. It will be solo friendly, but point is, you can do different things with dev resources depending on what you're willing to cut.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like
he was right.
Wait, what?
Sorry. Someone in chat said, look carefully in this scene and you can see Gas can run on water. And they're right.
There you go.
Good eye.
In terms of like this is going to sound super corporate-y, but in terms of like the core tenets of the community team, is transparency, and is that kind of like the number one thing that you guys strive for, and being honest and being real with the community, or what would you guys say are your core focuses?
I think it's just make the game you'd want to play, and treat the community like you'd want to be treated. Like, it's honestly a golden rule, and in the biblical sense,
sure.
Even though a lot of that doesn't apply, but our most important responsibility is to let our players know we're committed to the community and the game, and that we are human, which means we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have down times. We're going to have up times, and we're doing what we love. And that's what everything is built around.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to add anything, Megs.
I mean, amen to that. But I also I also like agree with the transparency. I think I used that word earlier. Like I said, the fact that we are kind of always on, always watching, we'll be transparent about a lot of things, small or big, because we've kind of kept that precedent over the years of, you know, just sharing. And I don't think in our job there's oversharing. So, I mean, if you get annoyed, you can tell us, but we try to, you know, tell them the big things and even the small things that might not matter to someone, but it's going to matter to one person, right? And that one person is happy we did that. And at the end of the day, I'm cool with that.
Sure. Just some quick questions from the chat about 5 minutes ago. What's the best way to like get your attention? And maybe this is something you don't want to answer, but what's the best place to like put feedback for something? Is it a Reddit? Is it a Twitter? Is it the streams that you guys do every week? Or sorry, go ahead.
Whatever they're most comfortable with. Like, we check them all. So Twitch chat is the fastest moving. So if you're willing to gamble there, Twitter is pretty good, depending if you're talking to the right person. The forums we read during work hours mostly, and we read what the community has responded well to. So that one's probably the safest. And Reddit is based on the popularity of whoever's upvoting or downvoting you. So
sure.
And there's definitely, you know, for example, we put out, probably when we put out Railjack, right, we'll have a forum mega thread that's Railjack feedback. So, you know, once you've kind of given it a go and you have feedback, we're literally hawkeyeing on that thread, on that mega thread, ready for your feedback, because we just put it out. You know, millions of people are now playing it, and we want to know what you guys think of it, what we can fix. So definitely, as we put things out when it's brand new, we're staring at feedback, especially Twitter as well. I always have it open on my computer. So
oh, excellent. Good to know.
I mean, I'm not looking at
At Moy Toy.
Yeah, there you go.
Send me JoJo references.
Oh God, more anime.
Now, do you guys get because I mean, I've been a student of the internet. I've lived among the internet for most of my life, I would say, adult life. Do you guys get a lot of positive feedback? Because I would think that as the thing that people want to speak up about is shit they don't like. But do you guys get enough like good stuff to let you know what you're doing right, or is it mostly negative like I've been used to all my life?
I think there's a go ahead, Rick.
No, I've talked too much. You go.
I'm just gonna say, like, there's a mix for sure. You know, we can tell almost right away, like, oh, like as Reb said, our failures are our failures. So right away we can maybe tell that not the hottest move, but I think a lot of the times what we say to them is like, try it a bit more. Like, people are very quick to you know, post feedback about something, and we're like, maybe just like,
oh really?
Yeah.
They'll talk shit about something without ever actually having seen it or tried it.
It happens.
We'll talk about Mulan in the second half of the show today. So.
Well, people are very passionate about Warframe and about the changes we make, and that definitely shows in a lot of their responses. And I think that's what we try to really understand when we're reading. Maybe a comment that's not so nice, but over the years, you know, we're trying to really push, you know, constructive criticism. Like, we're totally open to criticism and critiques, but if it is constructive, that's 1,000 times better. If you say you don't like this thing, tell me why, right? Because it's so much easier to read something that already has a suggestion in it. Because, you know, it's hard to physically talk to that person all the time and like, or message them like right away, be like, tell me why, give me a suggestion. Why do you think that? What do you suggest? So to already have kind of a flushed out idea and have really criticized and constructive feedback is definitely something that we've seen more over the years and is super helpful.
Cool.
You hear that? It's super helpful. Positive feedback is super helpful.
So before the Empyrean thing ends, can I get in one more Empyrean
question?
Here?
By all means.
So this is when the demo ended, I first of all, of course, I was like, this is incredible. I can't wait to play this. But the next immediate thought in my mind was, this would be incredible to fight other people in.
PvP.
You're going
Is there
PvP.
any plans for Empyrean PvP? Like 8 ships just warp to a sector and the last one standing
I hear
wins.
BR's a popular thing these days. Have you guys thought? Is there a BR mode?
What is a BR?
I think a battle royale.
Battle rally?
Rally.
Battle rally.
Yeah, what?
No, but like seriously, like when I started Warframe PvP, when I started Warframe, I walked up to the PvP console, and this is like my second day, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I had no idea this game has PvP." And I hate to say it, but chat immediately just basically started spamming like, "We don't talk about PvP. That's not we don't talk about PvP. Like it's cool if you want to play around with it, but the meat of the game is in the single player." So I'm wondering, like, it could be kind of a cool opportunity. Like, has that something that's been brought up? Have you guys thought about? Is that something that we might get in the future, or is Empyrean kind of like fundamentally a story-based PvE experience?
It is fundamentally PvE. However, if we were an opportunistic dev team, which we are, we would know this is a new balancing baseline in which we could treat it as a new, like, we don't really have PvP plans for it, but again, given the environment it's in, having its own stats could be an interesting way to do it.
Right.
I think that would be rad. And I know our team is one of, if I can prototype it, we might be able to ship it. So who knows what'll happen. The PvP as it stands is one of definitely a lot of effort went into finding a Warframe PvP version, whether it's Lunaro, our ball game we made, or just core.
I had fun with that ball game, by the way. I played it for like a good hour straight. It was cool. I had a good time. The hardest part was finding play. It was so disappointing.
Exactly. Like it's not for lack of effort. It's so weird because like I don't know.
Well, it's a different game ultimately.
It is a different game, exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Different game for, more importantly, different players. Like when you're playing a PvP game, you're trying to get a different thing out of your game than you are if you're like playing through a story or developing frame or farming. So it's like 2 completely different audiences you're catering to.
yeah, I feel like Warframe players are more analogous with Stardew Valley players than they are like shooter
I
players.
agree.
Like,
You know,
For real.
I've never
That's
thought
for
about
real.
it that way, but yeah, that's perfect.
that's
Right.
our player base.
I've been farming MR ranks for 1 hour and 40 minutes now. It's great.
Yeah, it's absolutely
You
true.
got your checkbook out?
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Ready? I'm gonna give you 3 words.
Wait, who's check? Mine? Oh, there's.
No, there. Yeah, Reb and Megan.
Are they writing us a check?
Warframe auto chess.
Oh,
Money, please. Money, please.
To be honest, that's PvP without the verse. Like, I think we could do it. I think if Steve had enough beer on his Sundays, we could have that.
all right. So that's what this. Send them beer, chat. They need a lot of beer at the DE offices, so check them out.
Oh, wait, spoilers! Spoilers! Everyone look away! Everyone look away! It's the video. In the video, spoilers.
Look away.
I mean,
Oh man, that's the weirdest looking shadow. What was that? I mean, it
I
was
don't know
like
what
the
that
shadow.
was. That must be some new
Shadow or
stuff coming up
I
in the
know.
future.
Man, that was so weird.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, while we're talking about sponsorship, if you are getting beer to get some beer, or Steve to get some beer, you
Some
can maybe
beer.
think of Blue Moon. Have you heard of this? This is a delicious, slightly orangey beer. It's amazing. You can find me at killcarnage@opg.tv.
There you go.
Tell me more,
Jesus.
Blue Moon.
Yeah. What's
It's,
the drink?
Moon.
Let's go full circle with this. What's the drink of choice, Rebecca? What are we going with? Drink of choice. Walk up to a bar. What are you getting?
Bourbon.
Just straight bourbon.
Bourbon anything. Bourbon mule, bourbon on the rocks,
Okay.
cider if I need it.
Okay. All right. Megan.
I'm a classy girl. I like a good old vodka orange juice.
God.
Driver.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being healthy when I drink it, so that's a plus for me.
What about like a vodka Sunkist? Did you ever get like the orange sodas?
Oh, like a Sunny D.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, that might actually work too.
Oh, I'll try it this weekend. I'll let you know.
Oh God. Okay.
There you go.
Do want to finish a couple questions from chat. Crossplay. Any word on that? Any thoughts on that? Is that a no word? What? How do we feel about crossplay?
Crossplay is way less on the radar than account transfer action. So there's like cross save or cross play. And the focus when we get to that point is going to be the cross saving. So how do I bring my ribbons from X to Y? And how do I bring my prime, like that type of thing. So that's the priority.
Okay. And then in terms of like the new engine renderer, how much like extra hardware are we talking here? Are people gonna have to get brand new PCs? Is it gonna run on the same thing? Like, are you talking about that at all?
It should just work. That's yeah.
Right.
Warframe should just work.
Does it already work on console?
RTX on.
RTX on.
As far like I was saying, the performance team sent me a video of it, and it's working on console.
Yeah. So there you go.
All right. Cool. Zeke, Co, any final questions here before we do some shout outs and let them get back to work?
Thank you guys so much for coming on. This has been awesome. The only thing that I kind of wanted to get into, but at the same time I know we can't get into, is the fact that guy had a beard. Can we talk about that? But no, we probably shouldn't at the same time.
We don't talk about facial hair on this stream.
Spoiler territory, but
that was a
you're
moment
right.
during TennoCon for the record. Does that guy have a beard? Oh my god, he's got a beard.
This is the coolest art we've ever, like, look at this.
I thought this was like a samurai versus ninja thing, and I was really freaking out, but then I was still freaking out after I realized, no, that's probably not real at all. But yeah, this is
I kid you not.
really
There
cool
was a
cutscene.
portion, a large, sizable portion of my community that was fully convinced that with this trailer, you were trying to show a Warframe Dark Souls spinoff. And I was kind of like, I don't quite think that's the direction they're going, but I like your gusto.
It's it's going to be something. I think it's more, to me, it's more Death Stranding, to be completely honest.
That's
in terms of
I got that right away. Yeah, Death Stranding.
Yeah.
I think my favorite was how many people sent us like the picture of him, but with obviously Keanu Reeves' face photoshopped on it.
Yeah,
Of course they did.
fucking Keanu. He's
It's taken over.
He's
I
taking
like
over.
it.
He's a big deal apparently. Turns out. Zeke, any final comments, questions, anything like that?
Honestly, mine was so dumb. Like the thing I thought of was like, when you guys were talking about what drinks you have, when you guys like have a little like soiree, do you have like Warframe themed drinks that you guys make?
Yeah, we do. I have a Warframe beer behind me. I think Meg has them in her office.
I
Don't
do
you?
too. Hold on.
Well, what?
Yeah, we have. Actually, yeah, she'll grab them. There's we do make little like at most of our work parties, we like theme our drinks, and then we got these cans made of Warframe branded beer.
On today's stream, we have an Orakin Gold Blonde Ale.
Nice.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh my
That
god.
sounds pretty good.
And if you're not into blondes, that's fine. We also have a lager, Crewman Craft Lager. Oh.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
This is
Nice.
this is a beer stream.
And
If you
if you were to put
this.
oh, go ahead.
We have a Greedy Malt Copper Ale with Clip.
Now, how much platinum are we talking here? How much would this cost?
No, I'm looking to buy a house, so I'm gonna go with 250,000 Canadian dollars.
All right, Co, you got about that much. Oh, wait.
Oh, it's like 5 Ameribucks. That's
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that exchange rate works out. Yeah, I think we might be able to do that.
Warframe beer. Hashtag we all drink together.
Well, now you have to put those out. Now that they're out and about there. There's a distillery in your city. We talked about it. I'm just saying. People
Make it
would-
happen.
Yeah. TennoCon next year. Everyone's just going to have beer.
You think they'd still be good from last year?
A
guys,
year-old beer.
I mean, there's
Hey,
only
it's
one
from
way to
really-
know right now. You'd kill the bottle if you opened it, but there's a way to know if
Yeah.
it'd be good.
Yeah, I don't want to open it.
Yeah.
Chuck, 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 Chuck.
Where's my key? I'm gonna stab it.
Wait a minute. That's my line. You're the bad influence today. Like usually that's my job. I'm proud of you. Well, good work.
Jesus.
Do it. Do it. You won't. Do it.
I've learned from that.
I won't do it. You're right.
Let's do some shout outs, guys. Wherever you want to direct people, feel free. We'll let Rebecca go first. Where can people check you out, check out Warframe stuff, anything like that?
Well, thanks to your guys' professional banners here, you can see all of our, well, you know, JoJo. But yeah, this is Warframe. It's our free-to-play game. You can download it now on any platform. But my shout-out is mainly going to go to the dev team who made all of that TennoCon stuff possible, and the rest of the community and marketing team whose efforts made TennoCon such a success. The best team in the world, and I love them with all my heart.
Is that the proper caps on is it capital J, lowercase? Is that?
It is actually, you know what? And then we're gonna do a shout out to my shoes that just arrived because
Oh
they're
God.
JoJo shoes and they're in a JoJo box and they have JoJo shoes. So that's the shout out.
All right. Okay.
Megan's shaking her head because she's not on camera. Oh, no, there she is.
No, that's you.
I muted myself so I could gag into the mic.
Megan, let's talk about your shoes. Do some shout outs.
Oh, okay. I actually just bought these.
Yeah.
I bought them
Which?
for TennoCon because I
these-
wanted
Okay.
some good fluff, some good foam, so it feels good.
Mm-hmm. You
They're
always like good
Fila's.
foam in the shoes. It's important.
Foamy shoes, good for the soul, literally. But, but no, thank you to you guys here at Drop Frames. Obviously, you guys are amazing, and we've been watching Drop Frames for a while. And when you talk about Warframe, obviously we get super hyped, and you guys have obviously some really good things to say, and constructive feedback, like I said, is always appreciated. So shout out to you guys. You are great. And then obviously the Warframe team here working hard. People are on vacation now, as they should be, taking breaks, enjoying that sun. But, you know, we're still here. We're still doing hot fixes. So everyone here is amazing.
Awesome stuff. Thanks
So
for being
you
on,
just
guys.
made like a bunch of internet like pervy nerds like super happy by showing your shoes off, guys. I just want you to know that like I'm thanking you for them.
Is it shoes or do we? Nah, let's just end the show. We'll get out of here. We're not going to get into that. It might. We'll see you guys we're going to let them get back to work. We're going to take a quick break and shuffle them out of here. Jesus Christ sake. Thanks so
I am
much.
who I am.
You
Shut up.
are. It's
Thank
fine.
you, guys. Thank you. I'm sorry. I was trying to make a joke and I'll probably ended up very badly, but thank you guys. You guys were amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you
Megan
for
and
having
Rebecca, he will be reprimanded appropriately after the show. We're sorry about this.
that's true. We'll
Or-
send SEAL Team
Yeah.
7.
Fish Team 6.
Fish Team
Send
6. There you go. That's
Fish
better
Team
joke.
6.
That's
There
better
you go.
joke. All right. We're going to shuffle them out and come back and we'll talk about what we've been playing. Thanks so much again. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
We're excited for what's to come.
Bye.
See you guys soon.